One confirmed dead, 6 others injured after a fire hit a condominium in Parañaque City. Cebu Pacific cancels nearly 50 domestic flights due to damaged aircraft and network route glitch. Pag-asa says water levels in some major dams in Luzon have increased but still below normal. Labor groups files wage hike petition for workers in Metro Manila. And UNTV bags Best TV Channel for Public Service in the first Rotary Wheel Celebrity Awards. Good evening. 1 died and 6 were injured as several floors of a condominium in Parañaque City went on fire. 2 hours passed before the Bureau of Fire Protection declared fire under control. Nel Maribohok explains why.
At 11:56 this morning, fire broke out in Pacific Coast Plaza condominium in Parañaque City and was raised to general alarm. The building has 23 floors and the fire hit 6 floors from the 18th to the 23rd floor. According to Bureau of Fire Protection NCR Regional Director Senior Superintendent Wilberto Rico Neil Quanchu, the fire immediately escalated.
Yeah, ang configuration niya is parang pinagdidikit-dikit na tatlong building pero isa lang po yan. Kaya nga po may opening siya sa gitna. So yung opening niya, isa po yung sa way na nakapag-heat transfer po yung apoy from lower floor to higher floors.
The firefighters also experienced challenges during their operation in the high-rise building as they needed to use the stairs of the building to bring their equipment to the higher floors. At 2:29 this afternoon, the BFP declared fire under control. According to BFP Parañaque City Chief Robert Pasis, based on witnesses, the fire allegedly began on the 21st floor. BFP reported that 6 individuals were injured in the fire incident, 2 are firefighters and 4 are civilians. The authorities confirmed that 1 person died, identified as Senaida Uno, 80 years old.
Nakita po natin sa 21st floor, sa balcony, at nakaupo siya ng left side, nakahilig, left side nakaupo.
The BFP have yet to determine the cause of the fire and the estimated cost of damage while further investigation is underway. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, Parañaque City.
Thousands of passengers were troubled after Cebu Pacific Airline cancels around 50 domestic flights due to damaged aircraft and problems on their network route. Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Board will validate the details and look into Cebu Pacific's possible negligence that caused the disturbance. John Nano tells us why.
Since yesterday, Cebu Pacific has canceled around 50 domestic flights due to what they claim as an unprecedented level of disruption. Flights canceled today include Manila to Butuan and those bound for Dipolog, Cebu, General Santos, Puerto Princesa, Cebu Zamboanga, and Cebu Tawi-Tawi. On the other hand, flights that are canceled for tomorrow are Cebu to Iloilo and Dipolog, Manila to Cebu, Osamis, Rojas, and San Jose. Charo Lugar Talagamon, the spokesperson of Cebu Pacific, explained that the airline was forced to cancel the flights because 3 of their airplanes were damaged due to a bird strike. She added that they have a problem with their network route due to the surge of flights that affects the landing and takeoff of an aircraft.
Yung ruta nung tinatahak ng bawat eroplano. And because it affects yung mga ruta at yung mga timing, yung mga schedule, nabubulunan ng aming route network and wala kaming ibang choice. And masakit man sa aming kalooban, we have to pull down those flights para hindi na lumaki pa at lumala pa yung problema ng malawakang mga delay at cancellations.
Cebu Pacific has extended their apologies for the inconvenience on thousands of passengers and added they are doing all their efforts to manage the affected flights. Affected passengers may rebook or refund their tickets, while some of them were given free food and hotel accommodation. They can also avail of free round-trip vouchers they can use on their next flight, the Cebu Pacific management said. Meanwhile, the Civil Aeronautics Board or CAB is validating several factors to identify if Cebu Pacific should be held liable for the disruptions.
We are now in the process of evaluating the incident and determine the circumstances that led to this.
The CAB also disclosed that aside from Cebu Pac, there are other airlines who applied for flight cancellations, which include Skyjet, Philippine Airlines, and Air Asia. Johanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Some major dams in Luzon record an increase in water level, but Pag-asa notes that the water in those dams remains below normal level. Ray Palayo tells us why.
The water level in Magat Dam, located in Isabela Province, has increased by about 10 meters. As of 6 a.m. today, Magat Dam's water level reached 172.93 meters from 162 meters last April 1st. But the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or Pag-asa said this is still 5 meters below its rule curve elevation for this season.
May pag-ulan doon sa may bandang Isabela, sa may Mountain Province. Pag doon umulan, papasok doon sa water reservoir ng Magat.
The water level of Caliraya Dam in Laguna also increased by about 1 meter compared to its level yesterday. An increase in the water levels of Ipo, Ambuklao, and Binga was also observed. La Mesa Dam's water, on the other hand, stagnates at 68.45 meters and it still shares no supply for Metro Manila. Meanwhile, the water levels of San Roque and Pantabangan dams have decreased. Angat Dam's water level was lowered by half a meter from its minimum operating level of 180 meters. The National Water Resources Board or NWRB clarified this level is only critical for agricultural areas depending on the dam. Angat Dam maintains the 38 cubic meters per second allocation for its water supply to Metro Manila and nearby provinces, while its allocation for irrigation is reduced to 10 cms from 35 cms. The level will become critical for Metro Manila's supply if it reaches the 160-meter elevation. Angat Dam recorded its lowest level in July 2010 with 157.55 meters.
Ang 180 kasi critical level yan, lumalabas para sa irrigation kasi nagkakaroon na tayo ng adjustments kay irrigation below that level.
Based on the NWRB's projection, Angat Dam's water level will be at 173.52 meters by the end of May. By the time, the board will analyze if it is necessary to reduce the allocation for Metro Manila to avoid any difficulties for its recovery during the wet season.
I-consider din natin yung succeeding months kasi, no? So kung as part of our preparation, one of the preparation is baka magkaroon ng adjustment sa allocation, no? Kung kinakailangan, if wala pang masyadong mga ulan na dumarating.
Ray Palayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A labor group files a petition before the National Capital Region Wage Board seeking an additional 710 pesos a daily minimum wage for private workers in Metro Manila. But the Employers Confederation of the Philippines remains confident that the wage hike petition will not be approved. Mai Bermudez tells us why.
Fried egg and dried fish has been the staple breakfast for Marieta Nava's family. During lunchtime, she, her husband, and their 2 children share a 50 peso meal. Every payday, a portion of her income goes straight to her creditors.
Pagka po sumahod ako, pambayad lang po ng utang, doon sa inutang ko ng ng 25 hanggang 6. Dahil kasi 7 magbabayad na ng utang para doon sa inutang ko nga nun. Tapos another utang na naman pagka nakabayad na.
Earlier today, labor group Associated Labor Union Trade Union Congress of the Philippines or ALO-TUCP filed a petition before the National Capital Region Regional Wage Board for a 710 peso wage increase for private workers in Metro Manila. If approved, the minimum daily income in the National Capital Region will jump to 1,445 pesos from the current 537 pesos.
Hindi pwedeng noodles tapos dadamihan ng tubig o sardinas, isang can ng sardinas dadamihan natin ng tubig para dumami para sa 5 na miyembro ng pamilya. Ang sinasabi natin dito, anong pagkain ang tama, sapat at nakakapagpalusog? Kaya mayaman ka, kaya mahirap, supposedly pare-pareho ang sikmura natin. Halos pare-pareho na katawan.
Dahil nakikita namin na ang inflation numbers at GDP data sometimes don't relate to the reality of the workers' needs on the ground.
In their petition, the group used the study from the Food and Nutrition Research Institute, several government agencies, and the Ateneo Policy Center, which says that 734 pesos is the food budget for a family of 4 and 917 pesos for a family with 5 members. But the Employers Confederation of the Philippines opposes the move, saying it has only been 5 months since a salary increase was granted by the Wage Board.
Baka hindi tanggapin Kasi nga wala sa tanggapin man, ibibinbin lang yan at maghihintay na alis na kesyo sa prevailing condition, maghihintay na 1 year bago pag-usapan.
The Wage Board approved a 25 peso wage hike last November for Metro Manila workers. May Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Philippine National Police or PNP will deploy 3,000 cops on May all over Metro Manila, where most of the protests are expected to happen. PNP Chief Police General Oscar Albayalde said they have not monitored huge forces who plan to conduct protests on Labor Day, but warned the public as suspected rebels might infiltrate cause-oriented groups to disrupt peace and order. General Albayalde, meanwhile, advises his men to implement maximum tolerance towards protesters. The PNP chief also slams the allegation of leftist groups that the government itself is anti-worker. He said that the investors are discouraged when huge rallies disrupt work.
How can they say that we are anti-worker? Baka sila ang anti-worker. Alam nyo kung bakit? Itong sa sigurado. In an investor, if you're an investor, dito, bakit po ba lumaalis yung mga investor sa atin? No? Papasukin ng KMU, papasukin na yan, i-instigate yung union, and then magrarally sila, yung investor mawawalan ng gana, uuwi sa kanila. Di ba? Sinong mawawalan ng trabaho? Di mga kapwa Pilipino natin, di ba? This is what they're doing. They instigate the workers, no? Magrally yung mga worker, nagtatrabaho ng maayos, kumikita ng maayos, napapakain nila yung pamilya, and then look at our investors dito. Tapos tayo ang may kasalanan, umaalis yung mga investors. Then they're trying to blame the government. Bakit walang investment dito?
Malacanang clarifies that the MARAWI City rehabilitation will still push through, but the government does not prioritize the rebuild of the buildings of big businessmen in the city. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo clarifies that the rehabilitation of Marawi will push through and the government has already allocated budget for it. Based on the Department of Finance report, the government has raised 41.81 billion pesos of the targeted 67.99 billion pesos for the full rehabilitation of Marawi City. However, Secretary Panelo explains that the government's priority is to help the poor residents of Marawi City. The official added big businessmen have the capacity to spend for the reconstruction of their properties.
Sabi ni Presidente, dapat kayo ang gumawa ng diskarte nyo dyan. Kasi ang priority namin, yung mga tao sa Marawi muna. Yung mga bahay nila, yung mga nasaktan sa kanila, yung mga survivors nila. Pero kayo, dahil kayo naman yung mga negosyante, may mga pera naman kayo, tulungan nyo sarili nyo muna.
But opposition senatorial bet and Maranao civic leader Samira Gutok has criticized the recent statements of President Rodrigo Duterte about Marawi. Gutok said with the president's statements, he dishonors Marawi as well as the memory of those who perished in the Marawi siege. According to the president, he does not consider spending for the reconstruction of buildings of businessmen in the city.
I don't think that I should be spending for their building. Hindi ako magagasto ng Marami may pera yung mga tao dyan. Every Maranao there is a businessman. Kasali na yung Cebu. May pera sila. The debate there is whether I would be also building the same kind that they lost. I don't think I am ready for that.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Fuel prices are set to increase at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, Tuesday, April 30. Shell announced that gasoline prices will be increased by 0.75 pesos centavos per liter, while diesel will be hiked by 0.80 centavos per liter. Shell will also implement a 90 centavos per liter increase for kerosene. Other oil companies like PTT Philippines and Sea Oil are expected to follow the same rates. This is the fourth consecutive week that gasoline prices are rising. UNTV is honored as the best television channel for public service at the first Rotary Wheel Celebrity Awardees for Public Service. Nel Maribuhok tells us why.
Television channel for public service, UNTV News and Rescue.
UNTV was hailed as the best television channel for public service this year for its people-centered programs conceptualized by BMPI UNTV CEO and President Kuya Daniel Razon during the first Rotary Wheel Celebrity Award for Public Service held in the walled city of Intramuros on Friday. Among the main supporters of Kuya Daniel's initiatives is Brother Eliseo Soriano, the overall servant of the Members Church of God International or MCGI. One of UNTV's flagship project is Tulong Muna Bago Balita, which primarily equips UNTV correspondents to prioritize the providing lifeline before delivering headlines. Also among the station's advocacy programs is UNTV Cup, dubbed as the League of Public Servants, a charity basketball league where participating teams get to donate their cash prizes to their respective chosen charitable institutions.
Maraming salamat. First and foremost, nagpapasalamat tayo sa Diyos sa award na ito. Sa ngalan po ni Kuya Daniel Razon, maraming salamat. At syempre sa pangunahing tumutulong po ng lahat ng public service ng UNTV, Brother Eli Soriano, maraming salamat po sa Diyos. Tayo po ay nagbibigay ng genuine public service sa ating mga kababayan. At bonus na po kung tayo nabibigyan po ng award. Again, maraming salamat po sa Diyos.
The first Rotary Wheel Celebrity Award for Public Service awards individual achievers and celebrities who have rendered outstanding public service in their particular field. Rotary Wheel Celebrity Awards is a project of Rotary Club of Manila Fort Santiago in cooperation with Aliw Awards Foundation Incorporated, Filipino Academy of Movie Arts and Sciences or FAMAS, and the Soroptimist International Las Piñas Central. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Commission on Elections permits over 29,000 voters to vote earlier than May 13. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The local absentee voting for the 2019 midterm elections began at 8 in the morning today. The absentee voting is for voters who will perform their duties on the day of the elections. According to COMELEC spokesman James Jimenez, more than 35,000 voters submitted their applications, but only more than 29,000 have been permitted by the poll body to cast their votes. Most of those who applied for the absentee voting are soldiers, policemen, and members of the media.
Ito yung kaparaanan kung saan yung mga kawani ng gobyerno, members of the military, members of the police, government officials who will be performing election duties will be able to vote absentee.
In the local absentee voting, only the national and local party list groups are included in the ballots. Voters cast their votes by writing the names of their chosen candidates manually. The ballots from the local absentee voting will be counted simultaneously with the votes cast on May 13.
Ang voting turnout natin for media, I think historically has hovered around 50%. For the rest of LAV, medyo mataas naman ang ating voting turnout at around 60 to 70%.
A small number of absentee voters cast their votes today in COMELEC offices, but the poll body expects the influx of voters on May 1 a holiday. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The National Bureau of Investigation assures the automated election system to be used in the May 13 elections is hard to hack. April Senadoza explains why.
The National Bureau of Investigation or NBI said they have no probe yet
on hacking incidents related to the automated election system, or AES, that will be used in the midterm elections so far. NBI Cybercrime Division Chief Vic Lorenzo added hackers will have a hard time hacking the system.
Kasi kahit na hindi deputize ang National Bureau of Investigation ng COMELEC, we are mandated to implement the law kapag may hacking incident because it's a criminal offense. It's a violation of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. So pag may hacking talaga, we will respond and we will investigate.
Lorenzo explains hacking into the AES is not easy because the information is digitally encrypted or written in a special code. Individuals who took part in reviewing the system have already assured its security. According to Pablo Manalastas Jr. of the Philippine Linux Users Group, or PLOG, an outsider will find it difficult to hack into the system than insiders who know the passwords. PLOG is part of the 20 organizations that registered with the Commission on Elections to conduct a local source code review of the system. However, glitches such as disruption of vote counting machines could still probably occur on the election day. In response to these situations, the NBI will be on alert during the elections. Lorenzo added that members of the agency are deployable should there be hacking incidents.
So far, ang tingin ko naman is it is a very safe system. Considering na wala talagang actual incident na naimbestigahan ng NBI involving hacking or breach dun sa system.
According to the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, the AES is not connected to any network on the election day, which will run from 6 in the morning until 6 in the evening. Should there be instances of cheating the polls, COMELEC spokesman James Jimenez said this will not be beneficial because cheating can be detected immediately.
The only time it is connected to a network is when it transmits the election results. And yung transmission na yan, it's a very, very quick process. The data packet being transmitted is encrypted. It's encrypted with an encryption strength that is basically at par with online financial transactions, which means it's as safe as money.
Jimenez added that unlike in the previous polls, technology provider Smartmatic International, despite the assurance of the system's security, the poll body will still continue to ensure the integrity of the AES. April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
There are only 2 weeks left before the May 13 elections in the country, but Filipinos working abroad have begun casting their votes through the overseas absentee voting. Let's find out what are the qualities they consider in a candidate in Monoxon's report.
Overseas Filipino workers flocked embassies and voting centers to vote for the 2019 midterm elections through the overseas absentee voting. But what are the qualities that Filipinos abroad seek in a political candidate? The UNTV News team interviewed some of our countrymen in different countries to know their opinions. Michelle Atienza Torres was emotional while being interviewed regarding the qualities she wants in a candidate. She said she wishes that Filipinos won't have to go outside the country just to reach their dreams.
Namin may parating na hindi na yung kasunod na henerasyon na maglalakbay pa para magkameron ng magandang trabaho, mangarap. Luluwa ako kasi OFW. Yung maramdaman namin na yung mga anak namin nakukuha yung pangarap sa sariling bansa. Kasi nung isang araw, yung aking anak nakakuha ng medalya. So, parang ang daming oportunidad naman nabibigyan. Pero mas pinipili namin lumayo at magtrabaho kasi bilang alam namin na doble, triple ang kikitain namin para sa pangarap ng aming mga anak.
For Dory Carriazo, a candidate must stand for his or her principles, while Rose Calipay and Lizelle Buenafe is looking for a God-fearing political candidate.
Ang kandidatong iboboto ko ay yung totoong tao, yung kaya niyang panindigan kung ano yung sinabi niya, susundin niya lahat kung ano yung plataforma niya. Ang kandidatong iboboto ko yung may takot sa Diyos, nagmamahal sa Diyos at sa bayan.
Isang makadiyos na
magbibigay ng magandang kinabukasan para sa lahat ng mga Pilipino, lalong-lalo na sa mga OFW. Ito ay ang kailangan ng ating bansa, ng lahat ng mga Pilipino para sa pagbabago, totoong pagbabago.
For Jeffrey Abobo, who works in Thailand, a candidate must not be corrupt.
Ang kandidatong iboboto ko ay yung mga hindi matatakaw. Dahil yung mga matatakaw ng mga kandidato niyan, ayan yung mga malakas magnakaw sa kaban ng bayan. Yung mga walang pakialam, sino yung nasasaktan, sino yung nahihirapan. Basta ang pakialam nila, yung pangsarili nila.
Dignity is important for Jimmy Ligas, an OFW in Singapore.
At saka hindi madaling ma-influensyahan sa mga politikong korap. Ngayon, yung boto ko ay para sa kinabukasan ng mga sumusunod na mga generation.
Based on data from the Commission on Elections or COMELEC, there are 1.8 million Filipino voters all over the globe. Many are in Hong Kong, Singapore, the Middle East, Europe, and North America. COMELEC is hoping that many Filipinos will exercise their right to vote come the May 13 midterm elections. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Department of Tourism has launched its new campaign for tourism called More Fun Forever. With the experience gained from Boracay, tourism stakeholders have formulated a framework of sustainable tourism built with concerns on responsible tourism, inclusive growth for local communities, and compliance with environmental standards. With this move for sustainability and preservation of the country's environment, the Tourism Department aims to make the country's tourism destination, such as Boracay, more fun, not just today, but for generations to come. Based on a Philippine Statistics Authority report, the tourism sector contributed to 12.2% of the country's gross domestic product for the year 2017. Share of employment in tourism industries to total employment in the country was recorded at 13.1%, also in 2017. Malacanang clarifies that disruptive diplomatic ties and not war can happen over the controversial trash illegally shipped to the Philippines from Canada. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the president does not intend to engage in war but is serious in his warning to return the garbage shipment. He added that Duterte's statement was a figure of speech. The official also said the chief executive is outraged because of the inaction of the Canadian government about the issue. Canada has already responded to President Duterte's remarks, affirming its commitment to working with the Philippine government to address the problem.
Bakit hindi magagawa? Kung may instructions eh. The instruction is kunin nila. Kung hindi nyo kukunin, kami magbabalik sa inyo.
Investigators searching for victims of a suspected serial killer in Cyprus have found the remains of a woman at the bottom of a man-made lake. Monokson explains why.
Police in Cyprus found human remains at the bottom of a lake on Sunday in an ongoing investigation into a suspected serial killer thought to have gone on a killing spree that claimed 7 female victims and went undetected for almost 3 years. Police say the suspect, a career officer in the Cypriot army, has confessed to killing 5 women and the 6 and 8-year-old daughters of 2 of his victims. He connected with the women on an online dating site. 4 bodies have so far been found. After a female body in a state of a decomposition was found on Sunday inside a suitcase weighed down by a block of cement, retrieved from a highly toxic lake close to an abandoned mine west of the capital Nicosia. One has been identified as Mary Rose Tiburcio, 39, reported missing in May 2018. The bodies of the other 2 victims are thought to belong to a woman from the Philippines and a woman from Nepal, who went missing last year. Meanwhile, several hundred people gathered in the Cypriot capital on Friday to hold a candlelight vigil for the victims. At the vigil outside Nicosia's presidential palace, there were tears, prayers, and calls for justice, Minister Ayonas Nicolau, who has said there will be an investigation into any perceived shortcomings to resign.
I'm ashamed to be living in Cyprus these days. I'm ashamed to be a Cypriot. and I'm here to show my support.
It's a very devastating time because we are just here to work. We're here to work. Then anybody don't deserve this. Any woman or girls don't deserve this.
Police are now searching for the 6-year-old daughter of the first victim found, a Romanian mother who disappeared with her 8-year-old child in 2016, and a woman from the Philippines who vanished in December 2017. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
Japanese Princess Chuguko unveils Tokyo 2020 archery venue. Meanwhile, FC Barcelona is crowned La Liga Santander champions last weekend. Astrid Cadapan Jr. will tell us why.
Barcelona's star-studded squad celebrated yet another league title win on Saturday after beating Levante 1-0 to clinch the league crown with 3 games to spare. The players were joined by their partners and children on the pitch as the trophy was presented to captain and club legend Lionel Messi. Fireworks erupted above the new Camp Stadium as the club underlined their dominance of the league competition with their 8th win in 11 seasons. Meanwhile, the archery venue for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games was officially unveiled on Sunday, becoming the first of the Games' new venues to be completed. Yumenoshima Park Archery Field, located on a former landfill site, was set for completion in May. The archery field, with a covered grandstand and warm-up area shaped like an archer's bow, is the first of the new venues to be completed. The venue was opened by Princess Tsuguko, who is a patron of All Japan Archery Federation, alongside Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike. Double Olympic medalist Hiroshi Yamamoto and other Japanese archers fired arrows through balloons, and archers from various local clubs were then allowed to use the facilities for the very first time. Asher Cadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue.
And for the news, the abdication of Akihito and succession of his son to the chrysanthemum throne will shrink Japan's imperial family to just 3 heirs. Kat Maraos will tell us why.
Japan is counting down to the end of the era of Emperor Akihito, who is due to abdicate on April 30. But the enthronement of his son, Crown Prince Naruhito, brings the number of heirs to 3. Prince Akishino, 53, who will become the new crown prince and first in line, his son Prince Hisahito, 12, and the brother of the retiring emperor, Prince Hitachi, who is 83, because the imperial law stipulates that the heir must be males born to the paternal line. Hisahito is the only male family member of his generation, and if the succession rules established in the Meiji era in 1889 remains as is, it may pose a threat to the succession in years to come. The crown prince had a daughter, Princess Aiko, in 2001, and in 2005, an advisory panel to the then prime minister compiled a report suggesting changes to the succession rules to ensure stability, including measures such as allowing an empress to reign, maternal line succession, and allowing the first, regardless of gender, to succeed. But the proposals were met with strong resistance from the ruling Liberal Democratic Party, as conservative lawmakers said paternal lineage was a core element of the tradition, and besides, all past reigning empresses were of paternal lineage. Then Hisahito was born in 2006. Lawmakers sighed with relief, and the discussion died down and hasn't been revisited seriously, even when a once-off legislation was passed to allow Emperor Akihito to abdicate. A resolution attached to the 2017 legislation calls for the government to look into measures to ensure a stable succession and to take into account the possibility of maternal lineage. This should be done soon after the abdication, and that the government should report its findings to the parliament.
I believe that there is a need to think of this thoroughly and carefully because of the significance and weight of the fact that the paternal lineage has long been upheld.
On the streets, people were ready to accept change.
I am all for a change to a new system as long as it can be discussed and there is a consensus among the people, and I hope such an environment will develop.
Crown Prince Naruhito's enthronement will take place on May 1st, and he is set to make his public appearance on May 4th. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Sri Lankan government issued a decree banning burqas and other face-covering garments. Terdi Petalio will tell us why.
Sri Lanka has banned face coverings in public following a spate of suicide attacks on Sunday that killed at least 250 people and injured hundreds. President Mayutrupala Sirisena said he was using an emergency law to impose the restriction from Monday. Any face garment which hinders identification will be banned to ensure national security, his office said. The niqab and burqa worn by Muslim women were not specifically named. The move is perceived as targeting the garments. However, Sri Lanka remains on high alert 8 days after Islamist attacks that hit churches and hotels. Dozens of suspects had been arrested, but local officials warned that more militants remain at large. Sri Lanka has a sizable and centuries-old Muslim population. Out of 21 million, just under 10% are Muslim. Only a small number of women are thought to wear the face covering niqab or the burqa, a one-piece veil that covers the face and body. Over the weekend, thousands of Sri Lankan troops stood guard on the streets, protecting churches and mosques. Sunday church services were cancelled across the country as a precaution, but worshippers in the capital gathered to pray outside St. Anthony's Shrine, which was badly damaged in the attacks.
Actually, we have feeling very emotional at this stage. Even the last week, we had no good mentality to work. We were talking about our friend and all the people who lost their lives. You can see the families. So it's innocent people.
The number of people arrested in connection with the bloodshed rose to 150. Sri Lankan authorities are also hunting for around 140 followers of the jihadist group Islamic State, which has said it was involved in the bombings but has not given details. On Friday, the father and the two brothers of the alleged organizer of the attacks, Zaran Hashim, were killed in an operation by security forces. Hashim, who blew himself up at a hotel in Colombo, founded an Islamist group, the NTJ, which authorities have said was behind the attacks. Ferdi Petalio, UNTV News and Rescue.
Spain's governing socialists have claimed victory in the country's third election in 4 years. Meanwhile, severe flooding triggered by days of heavy rain in Indonesia killed at least 17 people and caused thousands of people to be homeless. Here's Mirasol Abogadil to tell us why.
In Indonesia, at least 17 people are dead and 9 missing after days of heavy rain triggered floods and landslides on the Indonesian island of Sumatra, authorities said on Sunday. Some 12,000 people have been evacuated, while hundreds of buildings, bridges, and roads have been damaged by the severe weather, which affected 9 districts or towns across Bengkulu province, officials said. The waters have receded in some places, but officials warned the full extent of the damage was not yet known and some areas were still cut off. In Mozambique, flattened homes and wrecked boats were scattered off in the northern coast on Saturday in the aftermath of Cyclone Kenneth. The cyclone killed 5 people around the coast close to Pemba before moving inland and pounding the province of Cabo Delgado with rain, fueling fears rivers could burst their banks and leave huge areas underwater. Kenneth slammed into Mozambique just 6 weeks after Cyclone Idai, which leveled the port city of Beira before bringing deadly floods that submerged villages and vast stretches of land. Idai killed over 1,000 people across Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi. The World Food Program warned that Kenneth could, in the coming days, dump twice as much rain on northern Mozambique, raising concerns of a repeat of the flooding in a region prone to floods and landslides. In Sweden, Scandinavian airline SAS canceled more than 1,200 flights scheduled for Monday and Tuesday as a pilot strike that has already affected tens of thousands of travelers dragged into its third day on Sunday. SAS pilots went out on strike on Friday as wage talks broke down. grounding around 70% of the airline's flights and impacting the travel plans of about 1,700 passengers in the 3 days through Sunday alone. SAS has taken steps such as offering free food to passengers waiting to find alternative flights at airports across Scandinavia, but several travelers complained on social media that they were unable to reach the airline's customer services. The flag carrier, which is part owned by the Swedish and Danish governments, has said it is prepared to resume negotiations, but warned that meeting pilots' demands would have dire consequences for the company. And in Spain, governing socialists have claimed victory in the country's third election in 4 years, but have fallen short of a majority. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's party polled 29% and will need the help of either left-wing Podemos and regional parties or the center-right to form a government. For the first time since military rule ended in the 1970s, a far-right party is set to enter parliament. In his victory speech, Sanchez said the party's big challenges were to fight inequality, advance coexistence, and halt corruption. Mirasol Abugadil, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Chinese scientist unveils a 3-member robot band. Here's why from Amiel Pascual.
A robot band developed by scientists from China's Tsinghua University made its first debut on Saturday in Beijing, playing with the traditional Chinese instruments. The band is 3 members. The graceful Yao Guang, named after the Chinese name of the Alcade star in the constellation of Ursa Major, plays ancient Chinese harp Gong Ho. Yu Heng, named after the Chinese name of the Alio star, is a gentle flute player. And Kai Yang, a passionate drummer, is named after the Chinese name of the Mizar. The band's name Mojia comes from the ancient Chinese philosophy Mohism.
The Mohism is generally regarded as a school that puts the most emphasis on engineering and technologies in ancient times. Although the philosophy did not continue to develop, many people nowadays still fantasy what kind of technology would come out the Mohist school if it continued to develop. And if the Mohists can develop a Chinese robot, what will it look like? So we decided to complete the cause for them.
The Robot Band project integrates intelligent and interactive technology, sculpture art, music, and elements from the traditional Chinese culture. Nearly 100 control points of the 3 robots enable them to play the musical instruments, and the integration of technology, art, and cultural traditions presented viewers a unique and fascinating show. Amiel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue.
Experts in Britain and Switzerland are building drones, which they say will one day autonomously fly around buildings, assessing them and even conduct repairs free of human interference. Kato Moraos explains why.
Researchers in Britain and Switzerland say future soft, flexible drones will be able to reach areas dangerous for humans, such as tunnels, mines, or pipelines. The drones will be able to see using computer vision technology, building 3D maps of their surroundings. Once they spot where a repair is required, they could even summon other drones to fix it. The project is a part of a partnership between Imperial College London and Swiss Federal Laboratories for Material Science and Technology, EMPA. EMPA's next evolution in sustainable building technologies Aerial Robotics Hub and Imperial's Aerial Robotics Lab are being used as hubs for the drone's development.
Director of the lab and head of the EMPA's Materials and Technology Center of Robotics, Dr. Mirko Kovac, said he envisages the drones would be like a building's immune system, monitoring and repairing it. But he also looks to nature, saying creepy crawly insects can provide good examples to follow.
So we don't have to build a robot that looks like a spider. We can really just take inspiration of the way how spiders approach manufacturing tasks. And this is really what we translated here today.
A demonstration at the Aerial Robotics Lab in London showed one of the development drones using a magnet to latch onto a metal walkway before descending to hang from a wire. By moving up and down the wire, the hope is the drone can assess a wall while saving energy. Pat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Camarines Sur rescue team wins the emergency race at the 4th UNTV Rescue Summit. The group received a 2 million peso cash prize, while other teams received consolation prizes. Monokson explains why.
9 rescue teams from 8 provinces showcased their skills at the 4th UNTV Rescue Summit held on Sunday, April 28 in Marikina Sports Center. The participants include the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Offices from Palawan, Ilocos Sur, Camarines Sur, Laguna, Bulacan, Nueva Vizcaya, Cagayan, and the City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Offices of Balanga Bataan and San Pedro Laguna. During the preliminary round, rescue teams faced various challenges. All were scenarios of a calamity and disaster. Each team was given points depending on how fast they accomplished certain challenges. The final round was a surprise too, and all the participating teams did not have a clue what they were about to face. The scenario, a 7.2 magnitude quake hits Metro Manila, and the Marikina Bridge is one of the infrastructures destroyed by the earthquake. The challenge, with a 7-man team, the rescuers needed to transport a patient to the other side by passing through certain obstacles such as a high-angle rescue, obstacle, maze, and a traversing line in just 45 minutes. The Marikina City Rescue and UNTV Rescue conceptualized the obstacles and challenges for the emergency race. The Palawan PD RRMO, a first-timer participant in the emergency race, was the first to take the challenge. The group had no problem executing the high-angle rescue, obstacle, and the maze, but they encountered a problem in the traversing line stage. They stayed long in the stage until they ran out of time.
Kahit anong lakas na ng hila namin, naging 4 na kami doon, parang sagad na yung effort namin pero parang inch by inch lang or almost hindi gumagalaw yung load namin, yung patient. So parang yun na yung kumain ng oras namin dito hanggang sa nakat na yung time namin.
The Palawan team was followed by the Bulacan PD RRMO. They executed all the obstacles with ease but ran out of time in the traversing line stage. The defending champion, Nueva Vizcaya Rescue Team, was next. They finished all challenges in just 28 minutes.
Sa amin naman yung ibang parte madali na lang. Doon lang sa traversing. Medyo wala kaming practice talaga sa traversing. Kasi ang practice namin po talaga sa ilog lang. Langoy, rappel, langoy, akyat. Walang traverse, talagang iakyat namin yung pasyente. Yun po yung sa coordination po ng bawat team namin. Tapos bago kami nagsimula, nagdasal muna kami and then sabi binigyan ko sila ng tasking.
After this, all the rescue teams that followed finished all the stages in the final round of the emergency race. But all were surprised with the speed shown by the Camarines Sur rescue team. Despite being a first-timer in the summit, they finished all of the obstacles in just 24 minutes.
Sa totoo lang,
nagiging routine na namin yon yung search and rescue team ng Kamsur kasi yun nga sir, nasabi mo na disaster prone kami. So habang walang disaster, yun yung ginagawa namin, which is pinadala kami dito. Then may mga natutunan pa kaming skills na pwede naming may adapt pag uwi namin sa Bicol.
After all the points were computed, Camarines Sur was declared champion and received 2 million pesos. The Nueva Vizcaya team came second and received 1.5 million pesos, while Balanga Bataan participants grabbed third place and received 1 million pesos. All the teams did not go home empty-handed. The fourth placer Laguna Rescue Team received 500,000 pesos. Ilocos Sur in 5th place and Cagayan in 6th place got 100,000 pesos, while San Pedro Laguna, Palawan, and Bulacan rescue teams received a consolation prize of 50,000 pesos each. The champion already knew where the prize money will go.
Papriority namin yung mga gamit, then kung makompleto na kung makabili kami ng gamit, kung may natitira pa, siguro mag-ano kami sir ng mga trainings na which is kailangan namin para maging resilient yung Kamsur during disaster.
UNTV believes that aside from the cash prize, saving lives and being dedicated to one's duty is the most important thing for all the participating rescue groups.
Higit na mahalaga ay yung pananatili ng ating puso na mayroong pagnanasa na tumulong sa ating mga kapwa-tao, malagay man ang ating mga buhay sa panganib. And I would like to commend everybody. Alam ko po marami sa inyo, mga volunteers, marami sa inyo ay hindi naman talaga nagkakaroon ng sapat na kabayaran at hindi naman kayang bayaran talaga yung ating pong mga serbisyong ginagawa sa ating mga kapwa-tao na kuminsan ang inyong mga buhay talaga ang nalalagay din sa peligro.
Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Marikina City.
The Bureau of Fire Protection says the use of ropemanship and knot tying were beneficial in the rescue operations in Porac, Pampanga. April Senatosa will tell us why.
Gladys Areco of the Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP, became part of the search and rescue operations at the collapsed Chuzon supermarket in Porac, Pampanga last week. The supermarket was damaged when a 6.1 magnitude earthquake hit the area. Areco shared the BFP used basic ropemanship and knot tying during their operations.
It was very useful para maiangat yung mga slab na natabon. So, kung hindi proper yung knowledge mo dun sa paggamit or pag-ano ng tali, pwede siyang mag-fail and then you will add insult to injury dun sa mga naipit.
During the 4th UNTV Rescue Summit last Sunday, the BFP provided free training on such practices. Areco shared the use of utility rope in tying emergency harness that can be used in rescue operations. She also showed how to tie seat harness, which is often used by people who set up billboards. According to SFO1 Areco, it is important for the public to know how to make a fisherman's knot in case of emergency situations. Here, 2 different ropes are tied with each other. Bed sheets can also be used as knot if a rope is unavailable. The proper way of giving hands-only cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, was also taught to participants during the rescue summit. This emergency procedure is given to patients who are unconscious, like people who drowned or collapsed due to an accident.
So kailangan, sir, tama nakaharap ka sa biktima ng ganito yung posisyon. And then yung first step po natin.
First seat is check for the responsiveness ng victim po natin. So by tapping yung shoulder, tatap natin.
Tap natin yung shoulders.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, okay ka lang ba?
While the responder checks the patient's pulse, someone else in the area must call an ambulance. If the patient's pulse was not felt, proceed by giving the proper hands-only CPR. Place the heel of one hand on the center of the chest, while the other hand must be placed on top of the other hand. Lace the fingers together. Push hard and push fast.
Kailangan nakalock yung both.
Yes po, nakalock po ang elbow po natin. Then, ang wag po tayo gagamit ng puwersa galing dito, galing sa level po dapat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Check the pulse of the patient again after 2 minutes. The patient must be revived within 5 to 10 minutes to avoid complication in the brain. Although the participants experienced difficulties while performing the exercises, they were grateful because it was their first time to perform the procedure.
So dito po sa seminar na ito, masaya po sa pakiramdam na natutunan po namin yung pag-CPR.
Na-realize po namin na mahirap pala mag-CPR, lalo pag first time mo. Na-realize din namin na hindi talaga biro yung ginagawa ng mga responders.
These free seminars and training serve as an eye-opener to the public that they can save a life in their own little ways. April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this April 29, 2019. On behalf of Rina Villamor Camara, I am Angelo Castro III, because we need to know. We will always ask why. Good evening.